So today in our session we'll try to install Hive and we'll do some basic practice of Hive related stuff. So we'll do a Google for the Hive installation directories. Let's see. So we'll use the Hive-0.10.0 version and get it downloaded on the local file system. This file gets downloaded. Let's close this system. Let's go to the individual directory where this particular system is. Copy this file. Basically cut it. Just copy it. We'll maintain the system. And in our Oracle home, we'll create. Let's open the terminal. Switch to root user. We used to, at this level, let's create a directory. Hive_install. Now we'll go to this is the place where you have the Hive copy there, so we'll move the Hive copy to show Oracle Hive install. Go back. Go into your Hive system. To ls, you will see the tar file coming in there. Unzip this tar file. It will start the unzipping. Once it gets unzipped, we'll configure the variables, class paths, and then we'll continue. do ILS. It should have done that thing. Go into the Hive directory. Just clear it and then do ILS. This is where it gives you the individual things that it has. Just to have a check, you can check for the conf directory wherein you have the log4j file which determines the logging and all. The other important files are there, default.xml and other things are there, as well as HiveEnv. You can override the Hadoop specific settings by specifying these individual details in these files, so that way it will be helpful. If you go into the lib folder, you will see a good amount of support and many different types of files are available. Hive has the Zookeeper process also running in, because later on you will be you can actually integrate Hive with HBase, which requires this Zookeeper process also to be running. But apart from that, it has many other components or ecosystem projects which you will see, things like Avro and all are available, and some good like when you want to, since Hive is kind of a database type of thing, it will have its own JDBC related connection which you can use, so you can write your Hive related Java program and connect to this one. This is very similar to your OJDBC type of drivers that you use for connecting to individual databases. You are using it here, Hive JDBC and all. Hive also exposes, if you remember the discussion yesterday on the theoretical part, that it has its own server itself. Excuse me. So Jetty is the one wherein it will be exposing its internal UIs by which you can take a look at the details that it has. So all these are again there depending upon how deep you want to go. You have the HBase distribution also given with it, because HBase and Zookeeper work hand in hand. So it's a more complete product around your warehousing solution and all, which you can explore, and depending upon what level of integration that you have to do, you can get that details there. Hive and HBase handler and integration is already available in terms of the file, so explore it out depending upon the level of usage that you want to do. Go into your bin and you will be able to see your Hive shell as well as your config.sh. If you open your config.sh, just do a cat, it will have the individual details, like for Hive related processes, how much individual, like if you want to change the directory allocations or you want to change the memory which you want to give for Hive running on that system, you can see, you can specify individual heap size and all. We have seen the similar Hadoop-env file at normal Hadoop level to specify the memory related things for your master and slave processes in Hadoop. At Hive level also you can use these individual directories to get that level of configuration done. So let's go ahead and configure the variables that we have. So clear on top. Now the location we are is in Hive folder, so let's export this location to the path. Again, you can set, if you want to permanently configure it, you just set it as a Hive underscore home in your bash rc file to be taken, but herein you can just configure it for the session Hive underscore home. Sorry, first you will have to just declare that particular variable Hive underscore home equal to your current check it out, you are into this one. It's actually Just wait for a minute. This is not there. Let's yep, we are at the bin location, so let's put export hive underscore home equals present working directory. That is what you are setting in here. What goes wrong? Hive okay, do one thing, export hive score home equal slash home oracle hive version which you have. Let's set it up now. Export your path to dollar hive underscore home slash bin dollar path. If this is set properly, it should be able to give you the detail. This variable is set now. Now all this we did, you could have simply done the same. If you go here, vi slash root quit if you don't want it to change every time, just do the same here what we did through a command line for a individual session. Just configure, instead of like Java home, just add or copy paste this value Java home, instead of that do a hive home and configure the same. And this one should point out to your slash home oracle Hadoop underscore install hive underscore install slash the hive version. That will be a guaranteed change for all the users at any point of time when you will come. This is just for individual session, we are trying to build that out. Will continue to be here. So this is a simple configuration to set your hive part when you are going this particular detail itself. Now you can simply type the hive command and cannot find Hadoop. Okay, dollar Hadoop home will be there. Okay, let's log into the bin and then hive. Oops. Good, what's wrong? Hadoop underscore or Hadoop prefix must be set, or Hadoop must be. So when we try to run that, it will not be something which will be working in, because we saw that we have some issues during the startup level for the installation. So let's try to fix that out. Close this process, kill it. Actually, when you use the JPS, you don't have the task tracker and all running, so we'll have to first fix that. So after entering into the Hive shell by putting these commands, individual commands, like first making sure that our processes are running. So Hadoop should be running, and these are the key processes that it has. Hive, since internally uses your MapReduce framework, so you should have these key processes running. And navigate into your Hive file system level, type in Hive to open the Hive shell. To list down all the databases, you will just type show databases commands. By default it will have just the default database, so you will have to use the create database command to create a database like test, and then you will switch to the test database by using use test. And inside that, if you want to take a look at all the tables which are there, you use show tables. List value and list parts are something which are created using the simple DDL queries. And we also uploaded the data into these files. If you go back earlier, that's what we were practicing earlier to create the commands. These are the typical commands that we fired earlier when there was some issues with the Hadoop, but before that, this is where we created the test database. Then take a look at all the databases. Then we switch to like creating a table will be something like this: create table list value, and then you specify. You can create tables using partitions also, which is what this query does. Once you already have a table, you can modify, and you can take a look at that. You can modify that table using the alter command. That's what we added up here, another column. And once you have to look into the details of a table, you use the list value command. The describe command to give the name of the table, and it will show you the details. This is the way you will be loading a data. Now in this case, the table that we created, we already have a test data in the Hive local directory. Wherever you have the Hive folder, the bin, conf and all, you have an examples folder. Inside that you have files, and you have a kv1.txt file available. We are basically trying to load that file into the Hive table which we created. Important point to note here is that if you use local, it will try to look for a local file system to get the file. If you don't use local, it will try to look into the path. So whatever the path that you will specify, it will try to look at the HDFS level, your Hadoop distributed file system level. So this is where it loaded actually that particular data into the table. This is there, it was showing you the detail. And once that we tried like executing a query, that's when we ended up in having issue with the task tracker process. So that's where we went ahead and restarted the Hadoop cluster, because that's something which will require Hadoop, something which needs to be should be available or running. And that's something, once it's running, it will convert your queries behind the scene into MapReduce job. So let's try to run this query and see. Table, okay, there is no values thing. Okay, value, try to do that part here. You can see that it creates a internally, it's trying to create a MapReduce thing. You can also specify it actually at level very similar exactly to your MapReduce way the pig grunt shell tries to create the same. So you can see that it executed that query in a MapReduce manner and it utilized that capability, and it was able to find that there are total 500 individual records which are available in that particular part itself. If you try to take a look at the access for these systems, you can see that in your job tracker, the master process, also this jobs comes into as a detail. It shows here as what is the query that's getting executed. So any job related statistics, just click on that. Since it's a MapReduce thing and it is leveraging your Hadoop infrastructure to do the queries, it shows you here the details of all that particular thing. Let's enlarge it So it's as simple as, or it's exactly similar to your normal MapReduce jobs which you have run through your Java processes or streaming APIs, as well as also the pig grunt shell. Hive gives you an equivalent capability. That's what this particular shell shows you and all. So with this we finish our Hive installation and some common practice commands itself. Thank you for this session.